Console gamer here at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo with Chuck Van Pelt. Chuck, I just want to ask you a couple of questions here real quick. Now, how did you get involved with the Portland Retro Gaming Expo?
Well, 5 years ago, I've always been a collector and had a lot of game systems around my house. And about 5 years ago, I was doing an internet search for retro gaming in Portland, and it was about 30 days before the first one of these retro gaming expos. It was Rick Wise was putting it on, and he was having it in Vancouver, just across the river from Portland. And I said, that sounds really interesting, and I have a lot of stuff I'd like to get rid of. It might be fun to go and try to sell it. So I sent him an email, and I said, is it too late to get a booth? And he said, no problem, just send me some money, PayPal me some money, and you'll be good to go. So I show up this place with my car completely filled and a trailer behind me full of stuff. And when I pulled up, they all looked at me like, oh my God, they thought I was just getting some flea market dude with one table, and I showed up with all this stuff. And I didn't know anyone. I didn't know Rick, I didn't know John or any of the other organizers. But I did. I set up that day, and I had a really fantastic time. Just the social aspect of meeting everybody. And every single person there was really passionate about gaming and retro games, and they all knew what I was talking about when I referenced some obscure game. So I had a really fun time, and was able to also sell some of the overstock stuff that I had. So the next year it came around, I started to kind of contact them earlier and be more involved. And by the third year, I think I was pretty much a big part of the show. I have the website part that I handle. I do a lot of the marketing for the show, organizational stuff, any graphics work that we have, I kind of handle that. We all have our niches that we fit into, and I just sort of filled a hole. I think that was there in the organization of the show. I just happened to have the skill set that fit into that, and all of us, our personalities are pretty compatible too, so I think it just ended up that I was a good fit. So I went from just a vendor in year 1, and here we are in year 5, and I'm one of the organizers.
Excellent. Now, I've also seen Chuck here at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Now, how do you seem to balance out the time to be an organizer, a host, and a vendor?
Well, it's a real challenge. It's really tiring work, and if I didn't like it a lot, I probably wouldn't do it. It's a lot of sleepless nights. What I try to do is I do have someone that helps me out running my booth, and my wife actually is fantastic, and she comes and operates the booth for part of the day. So yeah, I kind of rely on that support system of people to help me operate the booth, where I'm kind of selling my overstock video game stuff while I handle the day-to-day organizational bits of the show, like making sure that presentations are set up on time, people are where they're supposed to be, and just generally helping out, whether it's moving physical objects all the way up to meeting with the press or meeting with you guys to make sure the public is informed of what we're doing.
Excellent. Okay. Now, you're also well known in the community as the Recycled Gamer. Now, how did you actually come up with the idea for the Recycled Gamer?
Well, I started out buying video game systems at garage sales and flea markets and things. I've always really liked gadgets, and I like video games, so it was a natural thing for me, to be faced with an old Atari console at a thrift store for $5. I'm like, oh, I have to buy that, come on. So I pick it up, and a lot of times that stuff doesn't work, and so I spent a lot of time repairing things and then selling them to other people. And I also discovered that there's a market for controllers to be modified, or taking this controller and modifying it for another system. And what I really do is I basically work all in recycled materials. I'm buying used things. I go to bulk thrift stores and buy by weight, like cables and all the other things that I need, and to manufacture modified controllers or repair systems. So when it came time to kind of call myself something, which I resisted for a long time, because it's hard to put a brand on yourself. And I thought, well, I'm recycling, and I thought that was a kind of a neat angle to take on the whole thing was that not only am I into old video games, but I'm also kind of keeping some junk out of the landfill and helping people find an old video game system that otherwise would have been thrown in the garbage.
Okay. Now, where did you learn your skill set to actually be able to refurbish these games, these consoles, and also to be able to modify these controllers? Because I saw recently you modified a Super Nintendo controller to work on a Vectrex system.
Right, yeah, that's been one of my most popular things I've done. Where did I get the skills? I don't know. I read a lot of books, and I'm not afraid to experiment and try things. And I ask people for advice. I'm not afraid to engage with people on the internet. I probably can ask them what successes they've had. No formal electronics training or anything like that. I just I ask a lot of questions, and I'm really curious. And again, I'm not afraid to make a mistake or mess something up, and through trial and error, kind of figure things out. And with the modified controller that you just referenced, the Vectrex one, that's just one that is a controller that I made, and for myself, I thought, boy, it'd be really great if I had a D-pad for the Vectrex. And so I found some schematics on the internet from a guy who had figured out how to trick the Vectrex into using a digital controller. And so went from there. I sort of wired one up myself, and it worked. And I showed it to a few other people, and they were really excited. And one thing led to another. And I started etching my own boards and making my own controllers. And I sell them on various sites, or sometimes on eBay or at the show here.
Excellent. All right. Well, one of the places that everybody can learn more about the Recycle Gamer is on YouTube. Plus, you also have your internet site, which is recyclegamer.com.
That's right. The website's really pretty sparse right now. More or less, it's just a way to contact me. It's kind of like the cobbler's kids don't have shoes, that old adage. The website owner's website completely stinks because he never has any time. He's working on everyone else's website. So don't look for too much excitement at recyclegamer.com, but certainly the YouTube channel. I'm trying to, leading up to the show, I haven't been able to post anything because I've been so busy. I do have a regular full-time job in addition to this work that I do here. But maybe look for some more on the YouTube channel after the show. And the Twitter account for the Retro Gaming Expo, I'm the guy behind that, so if you see any tweets going out, we try to keep them kind of generic, like they're coming from the show, but it's pretty much me and my stream of consciousness is on the Twitter account. All right, perfect.
So basically, Chuck, I just wanted to say thank you for giving us the time to actually interview you here at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. It's been a pleasure. And Chuck subscribes to me, and I subscribe to Chuck, so you guys subscribe to us. Until we meet again, YouTube, I am the Old Console Gamer.